Eric Owen.
Are we? Is this it? Is this happening? Thumbs up from everybody.
Our first return guest.
That's
Wow.
there it is.
Dudes, this is a whole different setup than last time. Wow.
I know, and it's so funny because
we were in the other
It was like our second.
You were
or
number
third
two.
interview,
You were
second
number
interview.
two.
Wow, it's not to say the other way wasn't professional. Of course, you guys are the consummate professionals, but this is a whole other level. Can you hear me okay? Am I echoey at all, or is it okay?
I think we're
I think we're good.
Riley, you're
Okay,
good with the
good.
audio over there, or Ryan?
We got.
I think we're getting
thumbs up from production.
Okay, cool. Is that like a full-on sign back there, or is that green screen?
Green screen.
Don't spoil the magic.
No, he needs
Sorry.
to know.
You just
he's
ripped
in
the
the game
curtain
now.
down
He's
and-
in the game.
There
it is.
it is. It's wild. Why is it the color green? That's the thing that can do.
I think it's
Like,
just a really easy color to separate. Is that it, Riley?
Why is the sky blue? Like it's just one of those things.
There's not a lot of
Yeah.
green in skin tones.
You haven't seen me after a night
Oh.
of McDoubles.
A night of McDoubles.
Oh man, and I see Peter. You're wearing that Giants hat.
It's still, yeah, it's tough to put it on today, but still rocking it.
With I'm
Still.
assuming a shirt you got in Chicago.
And a Pearl Jam shirt as well, yeah. Which I think
Oh.
are you in Austin right now?
I'm in Austin right now. I actually went to Pearl Jam 2 nights
I was
ago.
just gonna say they were just there the last couple of nights.
Yeah, my buddy went both nights. I went on night one, and it was talk about a passionate fan base.
Oh my God.
mean,
It's insane.
jeez, it was wild to see. It was only my third time seeing them. I saw them once in Toronto when I was like a teenager, and then ACL here, the big festival, which it's not the same seeing your favorite, especially a band with a passionate fan base at a festival.
Yeah.
It was great, but they kind of do more greatest hits. To see how hardcore that, I kind of knew they were because I have friends that are obsessed and have seen 20 plus shows. But man, people, it was wild watching when Even Flow came on. Is when the most people went to the bathroom. That was the bathroom song. People are like, oh, I've heard that.
Yeah.
They wanted to hear the deep cuts, which I like and appreciate.
Did you get any magical moments at your show as a Pearl Jam fan, a diehard?
Yeah, for sure. And it's funny, like you talk about that fan base. Like when I was in line, so I saw them in Chicago, and we're waiting in line to get in, and I'm talking to all the people around me, and I'm like, that was my fourth time seeing them. And the guy in front of me was 20. It was going to be his 29th and 30th. There was another guy that was at 45. There's a guy from the Netherlands. There's somebody from Florida. There's somebody from Ohio. Like it's insane. The passion that Pearl Jam fans have. But it's funny, what I remember more about the show than the songs, and we got some pretty good deep cuts. But just Eddie's stories, right? Like that's the part I love. Eddie had he was raised in Chicago. So he had his great aunt had passed away just before they'd gotten there. So he was at her service the day before. So he kind of introduced his family, was in the crowd, told the story about going to the apartment that his grandma used to own. And that, she raised all her kids there and all his cousins and the grandkids. And then there were some guys out looking at him going, what the fuck is this guy doing? What is this?
Yeah.
So Eddie said he got a little nervous and these guys came walking over and they were kind of big and tough. And he was scared for a second. And then the guy was like, are you fucking Eddie Vedder? And he's like, yeah, this used to be my grandma's place. And they're like, yeah, that was the rumor. We'd heard that as a rumor.
Oh, wow.
So anyways, the songs were great and there were some amazing deep cuts, but I love the stories.
Yeah, I know he's a big Cubs fan. Was that at Wrigley, that one, or was it in the arena?
That was at the arena, yeah. But
Okay.
I went and saw the Giants and the Cubs the following day, and of course the buzz was, well, of course Eddie's going to be here to do the seventh inning stretch, but he wasn't.
Oh.
Or he might have been there, but he didn't do the seventh inning stretch that day.
Yeah, that's a lot of pressure. He probably wants a day off where he doesn't have to be the guy. He just wants to blend in probably a day or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, Eric, you're here, the first return guest on the Road the
This
Stage.
is our first return guest. Look at you.
I'm honored. Thank you so much for letting me be the one.
Yeah, of course, man.
There's a plaque.
Who did I beat out for that? who was possible?
the thing that we're really looking forward to is that we're talking to you not as a drummer and songwriter, but as a first-time writer director of a full feature film. Like, that's wild, man.
Yeah,
Congrats.
totally different.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, something a little different. They go hand in hand in some ways.
Now, you had told us about this a couple years ago,
or at least because it was. I think you guys were here about a year ago in Red Deer. I think it was last summer. Was the show?
Yeah, it was last year, and at that point, we had just finished editing the movie, so it was almost done. I think at that point, it was just the finishing touches of color. Speaking of color, the green screen, just doing the finishing touches on the movie in color.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's and finally it has seen the light of day. So it's a great. You work on something for so long, and then you just kind of like, okay, I know we have to do all these things to set it up, but let's just get it out there. But it's just like entertainment doesn't work like that. The music business, I'm sure you guys imagine, is slow. It takes a long time to get anything done.
Yeah.
Film is like exponentially even greater. So
Right.
it's a good time. It's a good time to be alive.
What's more exhausting, being a drummer on tour or being a first-time writer-director of a movie?
That is a phenomenal question. Physically, there's no question that it's drumming on tour, but mentally, it's also no question being a director, especially for this, and that I was the director and the producer, like the main producer. If there's other producers, but I was kind of, it all fell on my shoulders. So, on tour, there's like a couple hours in the day when you're traveling to the venue, you're either in a van or a bus or even flying. It's taxing getting there, but you still have hours where you can just like not think about anything, or you can just kind of zone out or listen to music. Doing the movie, I literally, we shot for 11 hours a day, and then I basically had like 18 or 19 hours of work to do every day, where like it wasn't like there's a minute to even think. Like my couple minutes where I got to eat, I still had to like do things. So mentally it was so draining and taxing. It was rewarding, but when it was done, it was just like the biggest relief. Not physically, because again, physically I was totally okay.
Yeah.
But it's a lot, man.
Before we get too into the weeds with it, what's the rule on spoilers? Like, what can we talk about? How deep can we, before we get?
I was thinking about that on the drive up. First movie interview, but yeah.
Well, and it's fairly fresh too, so I don't want to.
We'll be smart about it. We'll try to be. We'll try to be smart.
Give a few things away.
So with first of all, the movie, we saw a test screener, right?
Yeah.
What are the actual release plans for Thirst?
Oh, it's out now. It's available in Canada. It's only available on Apple right now. In the US, it's Apple TV and Amazon, and it'll likely, I can't say where it's going to next, but it's available for rent right now, rent or purchase, and then it'll go to one of the streaming services to just stream in a couple months.
Is there a reason why Apple seems to be a really good platform for it right now, or a platform with availability?
It's a funny thing. It turns out in Canada, so Apple and Amazon are both great. They both, my company Gravitas got them on both platforms. In Canada, though, in Amazon, which I didn't really find out until very recently, and I would have done differently, to get released on Amazon in Canada, you have to have French subtitles and a French dub already available, which I did not do. So yeah. So
you've been brushing up on your French.
Yeah. Can you speak French, Patrick?
Hell no.
No? Why do I think you can speak French?
I don't know. No, definitely not me.
Bateman.
Okay.
I was the only Bateman that didn't do French immersion, regrettably. Okay, so viewers in Canada can watch it on
Apple TV.
Apple TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's rentable, purchasable, all that stuff.
Going through that process, there must have been a huge learning curve, right? Like, how many mistakes were made where you're like, oh,
constantly. Because there are books you can read for filmmaking and directing, which I've read actually more now after the movie. I read several before, but it's kind of one of those things that you just kind of have to do it to learn. Like, you can only read so much in a book. So man, I did learn a lot. The biggest thing, I always kind of joke about the movie, is that I learned that I don't want to be a producer.
Okay.
Because it's very much equating it to music and the band, is that being a film or TV producer it's a lot like being a tour manager. It's more than that, but it's very similar. The skill set, which I can do some of that stuff. I'm good with some logistical things. There are creative elements to producing as well, but the logistical stuff is just not my strong suit. So it was good to learn kind of exactly what that position is, because a lot of people don't know like the difference between like a producer, an executive producer, an associate producer, and to kind of learn that was interesting. But yeah, and then just how much things cost.
Yeah,
it's fascinating to learn.
Yeah, have you published a budget for the film?
There's a published budget. Yeah, it's on IMDb, so it's low. It's 50,000.
Oh, but still though, that like how do I say this without sounding condescending?
No, do it. Yeah, do it.
A year ago, you told us that you wrote and directed a full film.
Yeah.
I've watched plenty of indie films over the years. Sure. I have to say, I'm like very impressed because for someone that's never really done it before, like, have you ever made a short film?
Oh yeah, several short films.
Okay. So it's not totally fresh. That makes a lot of sense then.
You know what? Honestly, I think about the work that goes into making like a 90-second video for the socials, and how
an hour 34.
I couldn't imagine the amount of organization that would take.
Oh, it took a year to make it. Took a year of my life from writing it to then obviously the pre-production and getting everything set up, and then filming it, and then after I didn't I have a good team, so I had a good editor and a good sound person, but I did the score, I did all the music, and that took that takes a while, and doing the edit, I've probably seen the film over 100 times because I've seen so many different edits, and so yeah, it's very time consuming, but very very, very rewarding when it's finally done. But yeah, it's a whole different beast in so many ways.
How many shooting days?
Man, we only shot, so we actually were supposed to do is 14, which is not many,
right?
And then we lost a full day in Texas freeze, and we just the main character, Brian, the lead in the film, he was going to be in an HBO show called Love and Death was filming here, and he had a role on that show. So after that he was like unavailable for a couple days. So we just lost a full day. So it's just that was the end of the producer mind, like, okay, how do we make that up? And it's so stressful. It was crazy.
And then I'm curious about casting. Like, are some of these actors friends of yours from living in Austin over the years? Did you go through a serious casting call?
Yeah, so the only person I knew was Lori Kovacevic, who played Lucy, who's the leading lady in the film. She's been my friend for a while. She was in all my shorts, and just know each other for a while. Awesome person, very talented actress. Everything else was a casting call, and that's a different beast as well. Just getting, a higher budget movie, you get a casting director that kind of weeds some people out and gives you just like the kind of creme de la creme. Oh man, I had to watch so many reels, and there's some people need a lot of work, and I appreciate anyone putting themselves out there because it's such a hard thing to do, and you have to. But I watched a lot of things where it's just like, ooh man, this is.
There's a lot of delusion.
You watch a lot of people that they might get there, but they're not there yet.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that because you gotta start somewhere. But yeah, there was a lot of hours watching some not so great reels, and then having a casting done in person, which again, having someone audition, it wasn't just me because that'd be awkward. But I had my partner and my director of photography, and actually Lori was there for the auditions too, and another producing partner. So it's 4 of us in the room with these people, and it's an interesting, bizarre experience that I'm just gonna have to get used to, and I'm sure it never gets easier for anyone doing it because it's an odd thing, to do that.
Well, that leading into that, then how was the directing role for you? Like, are you pretty good? Like, were you hard and this is the script, do it this way, or kind of a little looser and let the actors have some fun with it?
Who are you emulating?
Yeah.
So my favorite directors. I have so many favorite directors. Like Paul Thomas Anderson is like obviously Boogie Nights and There Will Be Blood. I really like Sofia Coppola. She's awesome. She did Lost in Translation and Virgin Suicides. From the kind of more horror world, thriller world, Ari Aster is a little more Midsommar, if you know that. But and then John Carpenter, Halloween. But with the actors, no, you kind of like the Coen brothers. I know are famous for like you have to. It's word for word. Like you cannot mess up. Yeah, for me, it's as long as the foundation's there, you want the actors to have a chance to feel the emotion and kind of put their little spin on it. So I wasn't that hard and fast with it, except for there's a couple key things, there's a couple words that, okay, well, like this is kind of some exposition, like, oh, this explains that. We have to hit that. But yeah, directing actors is something that I'm going to take an acting class just to kind of like, I want to be able to get in their mindset.
Idea.
Just to how they, and I've read a lot about it, but how they attack things. Because that's a whole different beast as well. But I'm really happy that everyone on set was very respectful and professional, and everyone had a really good time. Actually, Brian, who's Villalobos, who's the main character in the film, he's so good, and like it's a fairly dark film, but he's such a jokester off camera. He'd be constantly like making people laugh and doing wacky, zany kind of shit, and I would have to say to him like it would drive me crazy, like because he could just turn it off and he was good. But some people, you kind of go into the scene, they're still kind of laughing. But I'm like, Brian, you're fucking killing me. You gotta shut the fuck up. And I was like, and in the most loving way possible. Like, Brian, I love you so much, but shut the fuck up. Just because he's so good at it, like, but he's just so affable and lovely.
Yeah, he was really, really good. And there are a couple. I mean, I can't think of many movies or TV shows where the scene of someone drinking liquid.
You can say.
Probably my favorite scene in a movie in 2023 is the piss drinking
Nice.
scene.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
a big
yeah.
proponent of drinking piss, and that was a
Perfect.
magical scene. Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm glad I could fulfill your dreams.
It was with such gusto too. Such gusto. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and I
But-
love
so
the buildup of it too, because you're like, is that?
Now it was a real piss, was it?
Well, that was,
my lips are sealed on that one. It's funny. We actually did a cast and crew screening here in Austin, and I did a family and friends screening in Toronto, just at a theater. But the Austin family and friends, cast and crew screening, when that scene came on, 2 girls literally walked out. They're like, "Nope, can't watch that."
Oh,
I'm like,
no.
"Yes, I did my job. That's great. You want to?
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
there's
couldn't take my eyes off the screen when he's drinking all that piss.
one man's pain is another man's pleasure.
There was also, I thought the cinematography was really cool. That shot when he woke up in the tent.
Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah.
Was that your DOP flexing his skills, or like
So yeah, that's my partner. No, that was definitely my idea.
that was sick, man?
But so Josh is my very good friend and my partner. He'll be working on my next film with me, and like every film I'll work, he'll be my guy. I'm gonna have dinner with him on Saturday, and have beers with him tonight. Actually, good friend of mine. But no, we decided early on, we don't have that much time for all these scenes. It's like, okay, we have to have one scene where we call it the flex shot. What's something that we can really like make something really gnarly? We knew that doing that was going to take a bit of time to get the right gear set up and everything, but it's like I knew I wanted that. There's a couple shots like the film Hereditary has a famous shot kind of like that where they come through the hallway and they kind of it's upside down, then it turns. It's not the same, but it's kind of in that vein. So yeah, I was like, I wanted something like that. And what's something where we can show, because before that, the scene's like, it's like quite happy when they're going to sleep. Like, oh, they're joking around. And you want to show like, oh no, like the world's been turned upside down. Like things are not okay. So how do you show that? But then also make it look cool. It's finding like ways that do the scene and the theme and the feeling justice without going overboard sometimes. But then it's okay to sometimes get a little gnarly with it.
Yeah, no, I was I actually watched it like 4 times because that it's like, oh fuck, how did they do that? How did they do that?
Yeah, it's very cool. a lot of choreography there, and that's I appreciate this stuff. I like a good scene where it's just a locked camera and the actors are acting, but every once in a while you kind of want to make people kind of like kind of turn some heads, if you will.
I've been watching a number of Terrence Malick films lately.
Oh yeah.
And so some of your nature shots, I was like, okay, I could actually watch this one shot for about 65 seconds more before we move on. But I know you gotta make time.
Yeah, Terrence Malick, like you're mainly getting in it for the beauty, right? You're
here's 20 minutes of a blade of grass. Wonderful.
But man, that blade of grass just conjures such emotion.
No, I thought that was really cool. The score was awesome as well. It only fit one
BPF song
one
in there near the
Black Pistol
beginning.
Fire
Only
song,
one,
right? Yeah.
Only one. It was a deep cut.
Yeah.
It was a deep cut, and I knew right away that that's the one I wanted because it was kind of a connecting scene. Like here's linking these 2 people with those 2 people, and I don't know. I always loved. For me, that was kind of always an underrated Black Pistol Fire song. It was one of my favorite ones to play too. Which it's not like a big rocker. It's kind of like a slackery kind of song.
Mm-hmm.
But I love playing that one, and I always loved that song.
And was it important to have a character that was in a band as part of this?
It's just it's the world I know.
Yeah.
So it's like an easy. I was thinking about this. There's so many movies that, and I really appreciate that, like cover subcultures. Whether it's like there's a movie called Buffalo where it's like about telemarketers, or where these jobs, or like there's a movie came out last year called Jockey. It's about jockeys. Like everyone knows about jockeys, but like what the hell do they do? No one knows.
Have you seen that, by the way?
Depths of it. Jockey, yeah, I watched it.
I heard it's really. I haven't seen it yet, but I heard it's like amazing.
It's good. I really like it. Actually, Josh, my partner, his friends made it. It's a really good movie. It's shot really cool. Not a lot happens, but it's it's one of those where it looks great and there's just not much plot, but it's very beautifully shot film, and it's the main guy, Clifton
Collins Jr.
Collins.
He's incredible. Yeah,
he's incredible in it. So
it's a pretty heavy movie, right? Am I mistaken?
Yeah, it is. It's definitely. It's worth a watch for sure. Just so with me, and like I know the music world, not inside and out, but like especially kind of going from working class musician to, like, I guess, I don't know, kind of moving up the ladder. I kind of know how that works and how those characters, not everyone, because everyone's different, but like I kind of know that world a little better.
How many Austin dinner parties have you been to while also having a set to play a few hours later?
Oh, not many, actually. I guess,
but it's probably happened.
It's happened. Yeah, I know, right? You're right.
Dinner's great, but I got a set at midnight. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, I'm sure that happened back in the day when we first started. I'm sure that was quite common, actually. And that happens on the road too, right? You go to an amazing dinner. It's like, oh shit, I got to play in like hour and a half. And yeah. And sometimes it's like we're lucky that we sometimes know some people in some cities that either own or like have like be in it, like a really good restaurant. And it's like, oh, this is so good. But like, I don't want to like have this come up, I don't want to be regurgitating this midway through Lost Cause, as I'm thrashing about.
Yeah. You don't want to risk that business at all.
No, which has happened. I've thrown up mid set before.
There was on that last episode we had you on, it was a place in Baltimore, was it? I remember you talking about the food.
Was it Washington D.C.? Was it my favorite? Was it my favorite vegan Thai place?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah. Which it's not vegan anymore, and I'm also not vegan. But oh man, yeah, Thai Crossing in D.C. It burned down, the original one we went to.
Oh shit.
But the new one's up, and the old one, the one was it's just in a small house, and there's no menu. It's like, are you eating? Okay, here's the food.
Here's food.
Yeah, and they changed it every day, and it was so good. They changed it now, and there's like an actual menu, but oh man, Thai Crossing is incredible. Yeah, they have fish and stuff now too.
It's got to take some willpower, because I bet you get some pretty good food laid out in front of you before going on stage.
Oh, all the time. I'll tell you what. One place is Bo's.
Goddamn right.
The spread backstage is just second to none, and I kind of I'm a hungry dude. I eat a lot of food, and part of me is like, I just want to eat all this.
Yeah.
But again, you gotta
pace yourself.
I don't know that we've ever had anybody throw up on stage at Bo's. Ryan, anybody ever? Not yet. Okay.
Every member of one band to throw up on stage at Bo's one night. That's the goal.
Eventually, well, you'll get there. I should correct. I never threw up on stage, but I've done the thing where you kind of.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
What's worse, that or drinking your own piss?
Oh, definitely
I think that. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it burns.
It does burn.
It does.
It's already I guess the other piss was in there before too. So, on the score end of things, one of the things I love the most is especially in the opening scene, the tinnitus sound going was like, because when I fall asleep, that's there, and that it was just bang on, like it just.
So that's also, I'm sure you can imagine where that came from, being in a band and doing this for a while. That was definitely my friend Michelle. Saw when I had the cast and crew screen. She's like, "Oh my god, this guy is obsessed with water, and he has tinnitus, and he has insomnia. He's basically you." And obviously, I don't have addiction issues like the main character, but the tinnitus is it's something I really struggle with. It's especially that's what you notice it when you're stressed out and when things are really quiet. That's when it hits you. So I definitely wanted to portray that. And I tell people, like, if they haven't seen this movie before, like, it might give you a bit of anxiety if like that kind of stuff bothers you. So just be forewarned.
I got pretty thirsty towards the end of it, and I'm like,
can I drink this water?
I'll double Brita filter this. I'll pour it through the Brita and then back in through the Brita.
Drinking your own piss, man.
Yeah. Have you ever used a life straw? Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I've seen those. They look cool.
Yeah. They're cool. I mean, in the film, it wouldn't have worked though, because again, there's chemicals. It doesn't filter out chemicals.
Right.
Yeah.
But me and my wife do a good amount of backcountry, like portage canoe camping in Canada, and we'll just bring one of those and you can just drink right out of the lake.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice, especially on a day when you're covering however many kilometers with your bags and your canoe.
Totally.
Absolutely.
The next summer trip you guys are up, and if there's time, the Red Deer River is amazing for canoe.
Is it really?
We canoe that quite regularly.
It's not rough. I've definitely. There's a park there, because I remember our first year there, we had like actually a day off, and I kind of just wandered a park and was like hanging out by the river most of the day. So I've definitely seen that river.
Yeah, it's there's some pretty good, because we've got like the Dry Island Buffalo Jump Park is just outside of Red Deer, so a historic park there. And so, like, honestly, you canoe that river and you think you're in a different country. It is just nothing like the rest of the prairie surrounding it, but the Red Deer River Valley is quite beautiful.
What makes it so different?
Well, just the terrain of it, right? Like it's in the valley, so like it's just everywhere else around here is just flat, right? It's just flat and fields. But when you get down into that river valley, there's hoodoos and cliffs and a lot of trees, and it's very different.
Oh, cool! I definitely want to see it. Yeah, that's next year.
Next year,
that's where I'm going. Yeah.
Cameos in Thirst. Did you have one or two?
Technically, I have three.
Oh shit!
But you can't notice it. So you probably saw the one.
Well, there's private property guy.
Yeah. Oh, you knew that was me. You could tell that was me. The ski mask.
Ski mask.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, that's you.
Ski mask was the
Okay.
And then the guy who takes the butt of the shotgun on the lakeside. Fuck yes.
Yeah, that was me. And I'll give you another one. When when Vicky is walking and catches her partner with another woman, she's walking to by that club. It's just very brilliant. It's before she sees that girl's tweaking out with like talking about stuff on the ground
and stuff.
When she's tweaking out, there's like another like vagabond on the ground, and it's just me with like a hoodie. It's I'm kind of in the shadows. Like I don't say anything. You don't really see me, but it's just like a vagabond kind of there. So I was that vagabond because I can pass as a vagabond.
So that's three. You said there are actually 4 cameos though. Did you have
those three?
Okay, three. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I was like I feel like I was halfway through, and I was like, man, is he actually not going to put himself in his own movie?
Yeah. And then there's a bunch of voiceovers that are me too. So
yeah. No,
but they're background voiceovers.
How did you work the location scouting? Because it wasn't like you guys shot on many different places by the looks of it.
Yeah, initially the idea was like essentially 3 places. Like, okay, I want the main character's house, the other character's house, and then the pond location.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up being, oh my god, a lot more than that.
Yeah, the office building.
Yeah, there ended up being a lot, and that was tricky. That was one of the toughest parts, is finding the place. There's a lot of just Googling, and then getting the right convenience store that would like agree to it, and then you got to get someone that will allow filming, and then sign, because they can't just be like, oh yeah, you can film. You have to get like them to sign.
I was gonna say, do you have to have like permits for shooting?
Oh, not necessarily permits. You just have to have them sign a location release.
Okay.
So that they can't like stop the movie from coming out because you weren't allowed to film there, even if they verbally said you did. You have to have something in writing. But the main character's house, I'll let you on a little secret, is my house.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. There's one, because the first time we had you on, I think we had started out you were on your back step. And then there was a guy chainsawing the tree, so you came inside.
Right.
But there was honestly, there was a pass by the window, and I'm like, I bet you that's his house. I think that.
It'd just be too easy. And he probably signed the location release pretty quick.
I did sign it right away. I was like, I should probably get this done. So that a lot of the movie was shot here, which is great in a lot of ways. But then talking about exhausting, the days where we shot here, I was the writer, the producer, the director, and then when everyone was gone, I was the janitor for a couple hours, cleaning up, which was a lot of work. But the biggest thing I was worried about was getting that right kind of pond ranch location, and that was kind of hard to find. I kind of looked everywhere, and then I finally found this one. It's actually on Airbnb, and it's not where we shot, but it's the same owners. Me and my cinematographer drove out there, and it's in LaGrange, Texas, if you know the song LaGrange by ZZ Top. It's out in LaGrange, which is about an hour from Austin. And we drove up, and the pond that we went by the house kind of wasn't right, and then they're like, oh, well, we have something like that over there. And so we drove on their ranch to another side. I'm like, oh, this is exactly what I envisioned in my mind. And they couldn't have been, talk about dream scenario. Not only were they like, oh, you can shoot here, they were stoked about it. And
that's awesome.
The wife, they were kind of an older, kind of like, very artsy couple. She went to art school, and he was a musician as well. So it couldn't have been more perfect. But man, I'll give you a little story about that location. So when we went there the first time, there's that pond, this big kind of expansive area. We got there, me and my cinematographer, we were like, I was like, this is perfect. This is what I envisioned in my mind when I wrote it. We went back, that was like 2 months before we shot. We went back, there was no animals that first time. The second time we went back, which is about a week before we were going to shoot, I wanted to scout things and kind of plan where we were kind of putting the set, where the sets were going to be, and kind of like where some of the shots are going to be, just do some reconnaissance. And we went there, and there was just cows everywhere. And then because there was cows everywhere, there was cow shit everywhere, just everywhere by that pond. And so and you can go several steps without stepping it. So the whole time, we have a week before that, we're kind of filming everything. In the back of my mind is like, what are we going to do? Like, I can't have people just stepping in shit the whole time, or the actors worrying about stepping in shit to like kind of get them off their game. So I just kind of stewed about that for a whole week. And then finally, like, it was the day before, we had one day off in filming. And I decided, I can't ask anyone to go there and shovel shit. I can't do that. So on my one day off, I drove an hour each way and shoveled shit for 8 hours to clear the area out. And then literally when I was there, I got a call that one of the actors in the scene the next day had COVID, so he couldn't be in the scene. So I had to come home and rewrite the script that night, which actually ended up, which worked out better. It actually, to be honest, like the story ended up, he wasn't like a major part of the scene, but he was in several scenes. Just rewrote it and it worked out better. But yeah, talk about stress.
God damn, dude, all that work. So you said you're not producing again.
So I will be a producer, but
right?
Not the main one.
Had you had any previous farming experience up until that point?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I've never worked there, but my wife works at a goat dairy part-time when it's kidding season. I didn't work there, but I've kind of hung out there a little bit, and then done some planting and done some things like that. But never shoveled that much shit.
8 hours of shoveling shit. Yikes.
Yeah, nothing even close to that, actually. Maybe like 10 minutes of shoveling shit. That was a world record for me.
You mentioned your next film.
Yeah.
Anything you can reveal?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So been picked up by a company out of the UK called Bluefinch. Bluefinch Releasing, great, excellent company, and got a company they're executive producing, and the sales agent. We've got Evram Ursoy, who runs Beyond Fest, the biggest horror festival in North America. He's producing as well. It's called Collapse. I'll give you kind of like the rundown.
Yes, please.
A famous action star from the early 2000s is being interviewed by Entertainment Tonight, essentially, in his house when something happens and violence ensues. I don't want to like kind of spoil what it is, but it's a real-time thriller.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so it's a good sell line.
The camera. I'll spoil it a little bit because it's not going to come out for like year and a half, 2 years probably. But he basically holds the camera. Something happens and he ends up holding the camera crew hostage.
Okay, very cool. That sounds awesome. And now, have you done casting and everything, or?
No, but I have. It'll be a much bigger budget to the point where you'll know the lead actor. Like it'll be someone that's very recognizable.
That's so exciting, dude.
And I have my top 10 lists. So yeah, we'll see who it ends up being.
Crazy. And I'm just gonna put it out there. If you need a radio announcer voice like you did in Thirst, we're more than happy to be on a radio in the background somewhere.
You know what? So I used Austin radio people for that last one. I honestly, for the next time I do need that, you guys are my guys, because I got to switch it up, right? I can't have people.
Give us our big break as radio announcers, fake radio announcers.
I mean, you'd be real radio announcers. Just reading a script.
Very terrible at it. We'll get cut.
So wait, when are you hoping to start shooting Collapse? Like next summer or?
No, hopefully early next year.
God damn.
Yeah, and then I've also got then next fall that'll be somewhere in, I don't know where that's going to shoot yet, but I actually have 2 other ones that I don't know which one will be first, but they will shoot hopefully in Canada next fall.
Oh shit.
There's Outpost, which is basically like a whodunit slasher kind of mystery. You guys probably know in Canada we have like outpost fishing camps where they're so far, like you have to access by seaplane. Yeah, so it's basically a slasher whodunit with a bunch of friends that happens there. I'm hoping that'll be next fall, because I already had some meetings on that one too. So
crazy, dude, you're busy as fuck.
Yeah. Dude, gotta do things, and I'll give you a little Black Pistol Fire. It's gonna be hitting the studio.
Okay.
Coming up soon. We're hoping it's next month. We don't know yet for sure, but hoping next month. There's trying to get someone else cool in the studio to work with, and then there'll be a lot of new Black Pistol Fire music next year.
Awesome.
And big old tour coming around. We'll be up that way. I don't know when yet, but definitely up in Red Deer.
Hell yeah.
Goodness, I'm tired just thinking about your next 2 years.
Yeah, no, it's crazy though, because I do think a lot, like the Black Whistle Fire touring and the one film are gonna kind of come pretty close to each other. So that is kind of daunting right now. But
Yeah.
I'm happy I get to be home for a couple months right now, so I can kind of enjoy it, knowing what's happened. Yeah, next year's gonna be pretty crazy. So I'm just gonna enjoy that next.
It's a lot of creating, and that's what you do. But I mean, obviously, your brain needs a little bit of a downtime here and there. So what do you do to get that, to just kind of shut that portion down for a bit?
Yeah. Oh man, me and my wife were just up we were just there last week in Ontario. We go to the cottage.
Nice.
And a lot of kayaking and paddling, and I love backcountry canoeing. I'm actually next week going surfing in Waco, Texas.
Cool.
There's a surf pool there. I've only ever gone surfing in the Pacific Ocean. When it's almost always in San Diego when we have a show later that day.
Right.
The venue is literally across the street from the beach, and they have a surfboard. So I don't want to like tucker myself out too much. So I'm going to go to the wave pool and kind of actually learn how to do it.
That's sick, man.
Yeah. Just do stuff like that.
That's awesome. That sounds beautiful.
And then that same night, I'm going to see Depeche Mode for the third time this year.
So.
Oh wow!
Third time this year.
Third time this year. Yeah, they're one of my favorites of all time,
Yeah.
and I feel like this may be their last tour. Not guaranteed, but it's a very good possibility. So they're one of my top 5 favorite bands. So I saw them in Vegas and Vegas, San Antonio, and then Austin is next week. In Vegas, I actually sat behind Backstreet Boy Nick Carter.
Get out of here.
Yeah. The whole time I was like, oh, who's this guy just taking videos this whole time? He's like taking videos, because I was really into the show. I know, words to every song. Kept trying to take a video. I'm like, ooh, who is this guy? And then one of the girls in our group was like, that's Nick Carter. I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Well, tell him to put his fucking phone down.
Yeah.
He recorded a lot.
Now, other than Thirst, which again, any of our listeners, viewers can get in Canada on Apple TV.
Apple TV, yeah.
Do you have a favorite film of 23 so far?
Ooh, man, I dug Oppenheimer. I thought Oppenheimer was awesome.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times now.
Really good. And honestly, Barbie was funny as hell. I enjoyed it.
Barbie was great. I didn't know that it was just a straight up comedy.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Is it? Yeah. It's not like, it's just a straight up comedy, which I feel like I haven't seen in theaters since, I don't know, Licorice Pizza or something.
Yeah, and it made me laugh out loud. I really enjoyed it. Oh, Talk to Me was also good, but like the first scene in Talk to Me was like kind of the one where, for a directing standpoint, the oneer they call it.
Yeah,
it's when like it's a
beautiful one shot.
Cuts. Yeah, beautiful one shot in Talk to Me. Oh man, that first scene in Talk to Me was incredible.
That's the kind of movie I searched for it. You mentioned Ari Aster. Like Ari Aster, I have a weird thing because I don't watch a ton of horror, but I'll like whenever Ari puts a movie out, I'll read the screenplay before, and that will make my decision.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
so
cool.
I've still never seen Hereditary. I read that screenplay. I don't need to see that.
Yeah.
I watched Midsommar after, which was amazing, incredible.
It's wild. It's the movie I've talked about the most in my life. To people that haven't seen it, I kind of like. It's unlike anything you've ever seen.
And reading the screenplay beforehand, like it is so dark and horrific.
Oh, I bet.
But watching it is very different because it's all in daylight. Like
it's so pretty,
wild. But have you seen Beau's Afraid yet?
Yeah, I did. Well, I went to theater to watch Beau's Afraid, and there's parts of it that were awesome.
Oh, okay.
A lot of it was weird, as it's going to be, and then I just kind of dragged on a little bit. It was a little long.
Okay.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I'd watch it again. I've seen Midsommar probably like 4 times.
Yeah.
And Hereditary twice. Hereditary is good, but yeah, Midsommar.
So good. But yeah, I was trying to find the screenplay for Talk to Me a couple weeks ago because I was like, shit, this is going to be the movie of the year for horror fans.
Yeah.
Which I'm not opposed to, but I just can't handle it all. I don't know if I'll be able to watch that one.
I know. I can't wait for that new David Fincher one coming out.
Oh, The Killer looks so good, dude. It's going to be a great year. We got Fincher back with another kill movie. You got Michael Mann returning.
I don't know. Are you guys excited about the Scorsese? The Killers of the Flower Moon is the one I'm probably looking forward to the most.
Absolutely.
Of course. Yeah. I've heard nothing but amazing things about that. And then, man, Napoleon.
Oh, dude,
Scott.
Right. I saw that.
I went and
saw that trailer in theaters a couple weeks ago. It was pretty wild.
Yeah. I actually saw Oppenheimer in IMAX.
Yeah.
And they had that. I didn't even know there was a Napoleon movie coming out. And then that preview came on in IMAX. I was like, oh my God, what is this?
It looks so vast.
Well, that's funny. Talking about like everybody loves trailers. So what about putting the trailer together for Thirst? How like what was the process like for that? Like to just narrow it down into that 60-second tease.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's very tricky. I basically, I'd seen the movie so many times. Like, well, what do I want to convey? The movie is a bit of a mystery. I don't want to like, how can I like entice people and kind of give the littlest bit of like what's happening, but not give it away? Because if they knew right away what it is, you want the mystery kind of still to be a mystery. So that was actually very tough. It was hard, and I don't know. I just kind of watched the movie and kind of like sat there with a yellow legal pad. I watched the movie 3 times in a row and just kind of like took some notes and then just like pieced, okay, this scene, that scene, that scene. And I sat with my cinematographer and we put it together in a day. And
it's an art in itself.
It really is, honestly.
It's an art in itself.
And a very important piece of art because that's probably the number one thing that's going to draw people to watch it.
Well,
right?
and if you don't have marketing teams building the trailer, then you're left with a little more freedom to leave some mystery.
Oh yeah. I'm grateful it's your biggest piece of marketing, like you said, Peter. I was grateful to be able to do it and enjoyed it. And so actually when you sign with it, like the next ones, it'll be like actual marketing companies that do it. So I will have input, but less. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what that ends up being.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like with these kinds of movies though, it's like, I forget what movie it was, but I started watching the trailer a couple weeks ago. I was like, okay, I can't watch this because from what I can see, they're either revealing everything, every little plot point of this film that I'm very excited to see.
Yeah.
Or they're going to do a swerve, which I do appreciate, where like everything in the trailer happens in the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, that is also
nothing
good.
better than that. I fucking love when that happens, but it's always a gamble.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good thing. I actually try to avoid trailers now because I kind of, if it's something I know I want to see, I kind of want to go in blank. Like all those films we just named, like Killers of the Flower Moon and The Killer and all those, I'm gonna go in blank. I don't want to know anything.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna see them. So
that is true. Well, Eric, thank you so much.
Yeah,
guys, second time.
Absolutely.
It's an honor. Can I I'll make a plaque for myself.
Yeah, because we're probably not going to do it.
Well, I thought about it earlier, but that's a lot of work.
Congrats on the film, dude. It's
thank you guys so
super
much.
Cool, and I hope the next few months go well and we hear some even more exciting news.
I can't wait to see and hear everything that's coming from you in the next little while.
Thanks so much, dudes. I can't wait to be back up there. Yeah, but maybe the next film will be done by the time we're back up there next year. And new BPF music.
Hell yeah, man. Are you on Letterboxd?
I think so. What is that?
That's the movie app.
Oh, I'm not actually.
Okay, don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe look into it.
I guess you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool. We'll make it official when we have you on for the third time. We'll record it in a canoe going down the Red Deer River, right?
I think
that's what we need to do.
That's a great idea.
I'm down. Hey, I'll steer. I'll do all the work.
As long as we're not cleaning shit.
Yeah. Well, hey, I got that covered.
All right, dude. Thanks so much for hanging out.
Thank you guys so much. Hey, love to everyone up there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, dude. Peace, man. Eric Owen, now writer, director, producer of feature films.
Actor-ish.
Yeah.
Cameo actor.
Multiple cameos.
Good job. The ski mask I figured, and I was looking elsewhere, but the ski mask was the only one.
I saw those curly locks. I saw that curly
Nothing
hair.
gets past the keen eye of Patrick Bateman.
Really cool movie, though. Thirst, written, directed, produced by Black Pistol Fire's Eric Owen, is out now in Canada. You can purchase it, rent it right now on Apple TV.
And look up his company is Echo Films, ECO Films. And,
really cool.
Stay up to speed.
Also, one thing that I meant to mention, but Thirst, one of the things I really liked about the movie is that it's it's a horror movie. There's a lot of intellectual mystery.
I was gonna say, because I typically don't like horrors.
Yeah.
So I don't know that I throw it into that horror. Like I like psychological thriller maybe a little better than horror. Like
fair.
I was waiting for some kind of gore or because the horror tag did kind of get slapped on it a little bit.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for something like that. But there's really nothing like I think of horror. It
wasn't a slasher
It's
film.
not a slasher film. Psychological thriller for sure.
But any questions that you had about the movie didn't really matter when the post-credits hit or the credits hit, because there's a very, very concise statement.
Yes,
Protect your waterways.
Yes, exactly the message.
So whatever you think was going on in the movie, at the end of the day, the one thing that matters.
Here's what I want you to take away from this.
Protect
Boom.
your waterways.
Protect your waterways.
I dig it. Peter Michaels.
Patrick Bateman.
Where are we?
We are at Creative Communal Studios.
Nope.
We are at Communal Creative Studios.
I thought I was going to mess that up earlier myself, actually.
Which, by the way, we should
while.
mention, because it has been a while, and the boys here have been busy. Go and check out some of the projects that Ryley has done video-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Has been absolutely amazing.
Stunning.
Our good pal Ryan Kuly over in the audio booth over there has a single with a band that he's a part of coming.
A One Bad Son?
May even be out already by the time this.
More like More Than One Bad Son.
More Than One Bad Son. Lots of cool things going on. Check out.
But yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Communal Creative Studios, CCS by Bose. And you can follow us on our Instagram at The Road to Stage. What else is up?
I don't know. We might be. I hate saying when we're going to be. We're going to be back when.
Someday.